So I'm Sarah O'Brien. I know it's been a long time since the start of the meeting, so I will just reiterate that I'm with the Sustainable Purchasing Leadership Council, and here to both sort through a bit of the complexities of sustainable procurement in general. We've had so much good information today about sustainable procurement opportunities and choices within the IT sector. Our organization is focused on sustainable procurement. We lead a global community of public and private purchasers, suppliers, advocates, and experts dedicated to driving positive impact through the power of procurement. So what that means in practical terms is that we have 180 plus organizational members, everyone from very, very large procurement and brands like Microsoft, FedEx, Sodexo, very large public sector procurement, the state of California, the US federal government, numerous international entities. So those purchasers leverage about 700 billion in annual purchasing spend. And our focus is really on this strategy of leveraging procurement as a powerful engine of change. So we provide programming, we design custom roadmaps for sustainable procurement success. We coach procurement teams to develop their own strategic sustainable procurement programs. We provide category and issue level guidance and courses for ease of implementation at all levels of your organization. And we network members with others. This may be one of our most crucial gifts to our members. That enables faster, more practical learning and professional support. So today I want to talk a bit about that larger frame of sustainable procurement. Partly this is for those of you in the audience who are procurement professionals. This is to enable you to make the case internally for the importance, the criticality of integrating sustainability into your procurement efforts, whether that's in the IT category or across the wide array of categories that you likely all interact with. So when we look at this field, as we've seen through the previous great detailed presentations, there's so much to work with and work on that it can become a bit overwhelming. So I'm going to equip you with some arguments in favor of sustainable procurement, then talk about how to become more strategic as you execute and design and execute a sustainable procurement program, so that you can take away the ability to leverage your procurement superpowers and really drive towards meaningful, high positive impact program development. So the first argument that is important to address is, sustainable procurement, this is bringing something irrelevant in and perhaps undermining procurement's primary mission. Procurement is designed conventionally to achieve value for money and to strengthen the organization by providing the goods and services it needs to operate. So we want to always be clear that those conventional procurement goals remain within sustainable procurement. Sustainable procurement doesn't toss those out in favor of some flowers and trees sentimentality. Sustainable procurement achieves value for money, strengthens the organization, and contributes to strengthening our economies, strengthening our society, and strengthening the environment. So it's an additive strategy rather than a competing strategy. And the reason procurement is so important and the integration of sustainability is so important is that for most organizations, 70 to 80% of impacts, for good or ill, occur in the supplier base or supply chain. When we look at greenhouse gas emissions, that's even higher. For many organizations, as Virginie just showed us, 90% or higher of many organizations' greenhouse gas emissions arise in their supplier base or supply chains. So addressing suppliers is procurement's superpower and high skill area. Procurement is uniquely positioned between the supply chain and the operations of their organization to demand transparency into the upstream and downstream impacts of goods and services. Procurement is capable of incorporating sustainability criteria into purchasing decisions and giving them weight. And by doing so, when aligned with other purchasers, procurement can deliver sustainability demand and sustainability results at the scale that can be truly transformative, can transform the entire market, not just the initial transaction one-to-one impact. So the other thing that's really critical to remember that sometimes goes unsaid is that every purchase of goods or services is a vote, either for the systems currently in place, which have resulted in the environmental damage, the social inequity, and the economic inequality and harms that we see in the world, or a vote for more sustainable and equitable systems that are available to us in today's market. So it's not a choice of regular purchasing or sustainable purchasing. It really is about making a choice in favor of the negative impacts or in favor of the positive impacts that you can have with every interaction in the market. So the second piece of information, advice, learning that the Sustainable Purchasing Leadership Council has gleaned and is very intent on imparting to our purchasing members and also to audiences around the world like this one is how critical it is to take a strategic program approach when you begin or build your sustainable procurement program. That means that, often people come to us, organizations come to us and they say, well, we need to develop sustainable procurement programs. We want to transform every contract, every product and service that we buy. We want to integrate sustainability into it. And that lack of prioritized focus doesn't really serve the organization well. It doesn't really serve sustainability well. It's more work. It's less impact when you have that lack of prioritized focus. You're trying to do so much. And we can see this even within a very broad category like IT. If you're trying to address every impact across every product, you may find that you are spinning out, that you're feeling overwhelmed and unable to truly be strategic in driving the change you want to see. So that prioritization for impact is a key factor that I encourage you all to think about. The other, when we're developing a strategic procurement program, the other thing to remember is that this is not a brand new idea. Sustainable procurement is a program like a buy local program, like a category management program. It's a strategic overlay for your procurement that enables you, before getting into tactical procurement, to understand and set goals, KPIs, so that you have a strategic framework within which you are taking actions that are focused on those specific goals and KPIs, and that you can track over time to ensure that you are actually successfully executing your strategy. And when we look at establishing strategy, again, Virginie mentioned a materiality analysis. Very important if you can, if you have the resources and support to do a full materiality analysis, I encourage you to do so. On the other hand, what we have found over a decade of working with large purchasers and digging into their purchasing overall to try and set strategic targets with them is that spend analysis is not a bad proxy for this. This is a prioritization pilot we did with a very large university in the US. This was some years ago, 5-6 years ago, so the categories per se may change. But when we looked at their spend, what we found was that the top 5 purchasing categories also encompassed nearly 65% of total spend, and nearly 85% of their estimated environmental and social impacts. So a spend analysis is a good proxy to get started. The other thing about this is obviously in your highest spend categories, which IT may be one of, particularly for the IT purchasers on this call, you have the most leverage. You are spending the most money. You probably have strategic supplier relationships. You can leverage that high spend, high engagement to really understand what is needed, what your suppliers can do, and to drive forward together. So by prioritizing categories and issues within those, you look to identify your highest impact areas. Again, spend may be a proxy for this. You want to prioritize issues that align with your existing organizational commitments around sustainability and social equity. The reason for this is much more practical than global. This is about ensuring that as you integrate sustainability into procurement, you are meeting the needs of your organizational leadership. So if you can report on factors that are in support of broad organizational commitments, you can very well obtain support, resources, and attention from leadership. You want to use credible sustainability frameworks. We've noted TCO development, TCO certified. Using existing sustainability frameworks makes it simpler for suppliers to have one reporting area or maybe a reduced number of systems into which they need to report, and enables you to do comparison across suppliers easily without having too much complexity in trying to match up what people are reporting. Requiring reporting obviously enables you to track progress both in your supplier base and for yourselves. And finally, not over-specifying and allowing flexibility allows for innovation and supplier engagement and ability to report to you on meeting targets through innovative methods. So the final piece of this, and this is a very mini version of our course, and then I'll talk about some of the opportunities we offer to members and the general public for learning and support. You want to make sure that you select a breadth of solution strategies. Often folks come to this with just the idea of I'll substitute a greener product for a less green product, or I'll substitute one supplier for another. No one solution will address all issues and impacts. So identifying a set of solutions to most effectively address your concerns and objectives is really critical. It also enables you to consider areas that may generate cost savings to offset strategies that may increase costs. So this is a very quick top level. You may be thinking in IT, for example, you may be thinking of product substitution, selecting for TCO certified products. Wonderful. You might also consider aggregation, standardization around a smaller set of models in order to reduce complexity, ensure TCO certification, and simplify your task. You may want to add supplier engagement, looking for engaging your strategic suppliers in in-depth conversations around setting shared targets, documenting progress, etc. When you're doing this, you'll want to think again about those shared solutions, perhaps reporting into CDP, certification by TCO, and other broadly applicable, broadly available solutions. And finally, you may want to add an efficiency aspect to this. procuring through a local distributor to reduce the transportation inefficiencies. Market is making that easier through the Optimizer program. Looking for extending the useful life of products, which we've touched on a good deal. Looking for durable, repairable products and allocating those within your organization over a longer product life cycle. So the benefits of thinking about a strategic solution set, you're moving beyond that product substitution box. You're also identifying solutions that can allow and encourage engagement throughout your organization. You may be looking at behavior change solutions that you'll need to engage stakeholders around, talk with end users, encourage them to buy into the sustainability objectives that you're supporting with their actions, and therefore become more involved, become more engaged. You're ensuring a more comprehensive approach that builds durable change across many areas, not only of your organization, but many areas of impact out in the supply chain. And you're also helping develop supplier competence and alignment for market transformation in that broader sense, behavior, product design, product delivery, and so forth. So I want to touch on SPLC program development support, because we do offer, for those of you who are in a procurement function or in a distributor or other function, we offer support that can help you create a more sophisticated program over time and assess your program against others who are doing this work globally. So we have just launched SPLC Navigator, which is our sustainable procurement program evaluator. It's a multiple choice, pretty straightforward set of questions, a survey, which is designed to evaluate the strategic integration of sustainable procurement within your procurement team and larger organization, looking at the effectiveness of your supplier sustainability strategy, your product sustainability strategy, and critically looking at how you make sustainability matter in your procurement. Often we see a lot of policy, a lot of codes of conduct with no real consequence. I enjoyed hearing Dmitry talk about TCO's consequence for not meeting specified criteria. That is critically important in your sustainable procurement. If there's no consequence, it's just a nice conversation to have. And finally, external leadership and advocacy. So the idea behind setting this platform up is that you can go in, and for non-members, there's a very low fee. For members of the SPLC, this is included in membership, and we will do annual benchmarking with this system. But you can look at a comparison within your sector. If you're a public sector purchaser, how are other public sector purchasers doing on this strategic program development? You can look at the size of your organization versus other similarly sized organizations, and you can download resources to support you in building more robust commitments and operations in any of the areas that are assessed. So I encourage you to look for that. We will make that available through Market and TCO and others, so that you can come in and do that assessment and build a roadmap, whether or not you access SPLC's resources more broadly and membership to help you move forward. It's a perfect way to understand where you are and come back in annually or more frequently to test yourself and to look at where you're going. The other piece of our platformed learning that is just launching for members now and will be launching for non-members at the beginning of the year is the SPLC Learning Hub. And this we actually developed in response to many of our very large members. This actually came out of a conversation originally with Meta about looking at how the central lead in sustainable procurement can disseminate knowledge to, in their case, thousands of frontline purchasing staff. thinking about how you sensitize everyone from category management down to individual contract management employees to the nature of sustainable procurement, what it means, how to be strategic, looking at sustainable procurement approaches, how to leverage eco-labels and certifications, how to leverage different strategies in their work, and scope 3 greenhouse gas emissions. As we've all noted, this is very complex. And right now, it's hard to know what tools are most credible, what approaches are best, as we're in a world of evolution around these measurement and data collection systems. So these are our first 3 courses. We will be developing category courses developed from our guidance and making this accessible to employees in small bites on their own time to really sensitize and enable them to help you as you're designing and implementing a sustainable procurement program. So this is our member empowerment cycle, but I thought it's relevant to any development of any strategic sustainable procurement program. So first, assess your level of capacity and maturity with regard to strategic sustainable procurement. You're probably doing throughout your procurement organization, there are probably small initiatives, certifications integrated, some learning, some engagement with suppliers. Looking at that as a whole and understanding where you are and where you need to build is critically important. You can build a roadmap based on that assessment. If you are an SPLC member, you can access our coaching to help you build that strategic sustainable procurement program that you want to develop over time. You can empower your staff, member or not, with the Learning Hub courses to enable them, again, to upskill and develop their capability to help you execute. And then go back and assess once again, where are we in terms of staff training? Where are we in terms of focusing in on our high priority, high impact categories? And how much have we leveraged critical strategies to align with other procurement professionals and procuring organizations to really drive collective impact? So this continuous improvement cycle is one that applies to anyone. Of course, I invite you to join the Sustainable Procurement Leadership Council for more support with this. You can visit our site, certainly. You can contact me, and we do a bi-weekly introduction to membership call that walks through all of the items that are behind our member paywall to really introduce you to the kinds of support that you can access. Our membership is sliding scale, I should say. I know there are all sizes of organizations on this call, so there is availability to all at different levels. Our purpose is to achieve the mission of integrating sustainability into all procurement globally in all organizations. So we welcome you to our dialogues, to our member options, to our webinars, and more.